Have you noticed any changes in the working situation?
The changes I've seen since I started there is that our residents are much sicker and more frail when they come to us. They have different support for them in the community, so by the time they come to us, they are quite sick and advanced in their disease processes usually. And the challenges, of course, that we face are the same as everywhere else. We're short-staffed, and trying to meet the complex needs of the residents and their families is a daily challenge.
Just to give me a sense of scale, like on a regular shift, how many nurses are on? How many support workers? Just roughly.
Well, I was the night nurse for 14 years, and I was responsible for 164 residents. I was the only registered nurse, and there was 4 nursing attendants. I recently went to the day shift, and I'm on a type of intake unit where we take all the new admissions. And right at the moment, there's 30 residents on my unit. I'm the only registered nurse. We have no unit clerk, and 3 nursing attendants is the norm, although we strive to have 4, and no LPN. So it's busy.
One of the things I was talking to the sister about, of course, it's been getting a lot of prominence lately in the news, is the whole issue when you're working with older people, often dealing with dementia and the level of abuse and violence that can happen in the homes. And I know I'd heard this from nurses when I'd interviewed them in the past, and now people, I guess, are just beginning to hear about it. But is that something you've experienced as well?
Oh, luckily abuse for me isn't a daily occurrence, but we've definitely had our challenges. And it's not uncommon for nurses to be bit, scratched, spit on, yelled at, have your hair pulled. But what concerns me even more than that is how frail some of the other residents are. And probably the only place funded worse than geriatrics is mental health. So getting people who are severely demented with aggression problems, it's hard to find proper placement for them. So you're left to try and deal with those situations on your own. Then you have the ethical considerations of restraints, physical restraints, chemical restraints. You have the obligation to keep them all safe, but your hands are tied about how to do that a lot of times. And appropriate placement is difficult to find.
Right. Again, we come back to staffing levels.
Staffing levels and government funding and their priority for these people. Long-term care is an area near and dear to my heart, and if these were people's children, the funding level would never, ever be that way. And yet, for these severe dementia residents, you have a lot of the same safety issues as you do with children. They're sensitive to medication. They're not able to make competent decisions sometimes. And it's just amazing to me that the government puts such a low priority on people who form this country.